Hi everyone, Nicole here with your monthly market update for West Windsor and Plainsboro. The housing market is changing week by week, and in market like this, guessing can be expensive. This is exactly the kind of environment where understanding what's really happening locally is what separates people who do well from those who struggle. So today, we're going to talk about inventory, days on market, and the pricing, and how these shifts can actually work for you, whether you are a buyer or a seller. Let's jump in. First, big picture. We're in a housing market correction, not a crash. Prices, what buyers are actually paying, are still up year over year. That alone tells us this is not a free-fall market. What is changing is the pace of appreciation. It's slowing, and sellers are becoming more realistic. That matters. Let's talk about price drops for a moment. Price drops are an important metric, but they need context. These are asking prices, not necessarily what buyers are paying. What we're seeing is a shift. For the last couple of years, we were stuck in a standoff. Buyers knew prices didn't make sense with higher interest rates. Sellers didn't want to come down, so the market froze. Now that standoff is starting to loosen. More sellers are listing slightly lower than they did a year ago. That doesn't mean prices are collapsing. Prices are still up year over year. But it does mean that value is starting to improve. And that's a healthy sign for buyers looking now or over the next couple of years. Now let's talk about inventory. Yes, inventory has been improving, but it is still below pre-pandemic levels in both West Windsor and Plainsboro. So we're not oversupplied. And here's the key point. You can't just look at the total number of listings. You have to look at what's in the inventory. Let's start with West Windsor. Right now, almost half of the inventory is new construction townhomes. That's important. New construction behaves differently. Builders can release supply. They can offer incentives. They compete with each other. So in that category, we're seeing much more of a buyer market dynamic. But resale is a different story. Resale condos, townhomes, and single-family homes, those categories still have very restricted supply, which means those segments continue to behave like a seller's market. So West Windsor is not one market, it's two markets inside one town. Let's talk about Plainsboro. In Plainsboro, about half of the available inventory is in 55-plus communities. That's great if you're downsizing into that category. But if you're looking for non-55-plus townhomes or single-family homes, inventory is still very limited. Again, this is why headline numbers can be misleading. The composition of inventory matters. One more important inventory point. Inventory has been rising year over year for about 2 years straight, but the rate of the growth is slowing. Earlier last year, inventory was growing about 25 to 30% year over year. More recently, that growth rate has slowed into the mid-teens. That slowdown is a key signal. This is what a correction looks like. If we were heading toward a crash, inventory would be accelerating faster and faster as sellers panic or are forced to sell. That's not what's happening. Most sellers don't have to sell. They are choosing to wait, and that naturally slows inventory growth. Now let's talk about days on market. Homes are taking longer to sell than they did during the frenzy years. That's not a red flag. That's a return to normal market behavior. For buyers, this is a big change. You have more time, more choices, more room to negotiate, and fewer panic decisions. So what does all of this mean? If you are a buyer, this market is not about catching the bottom. It's about buying right, understanding which segments still have leverage, negotiating where the data supports it, and protecting yourself from overpaying. That's how real estate moves you closer to financial freedom, slowly, safely, and intentionally. If you are a seller, the market will still reward well-priced, well-presented homes. But longer days on market means pricing strategy matters more than ever. Let's test the market is riskier than it used to be. So here's the takeaway. Inventory is improving, but still below pre-pandemic levels. Prices are correcting, not collapsing. And the type of inventory, not just the amount, is driving very different outcomes within the same town. Understanding these details is no longer optional. It's how you make smart decisions in this next phase of the market. If you'd like to know how we can help you in today's market, DM me to book a complimentary consultation. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next update.